if you get a phone call and you eating a doubles, you're not answering, right? When you call back the person,
Any psychology now.
when you call back the person and say, hey, sorry, they was eating a doubles, man, I was
They understand.
they cool with that, right? You know it, you
That
know.
could de-stress you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I just tell people doubles very serious. Doubles is very, very serious.
On the front burner with Quincy Ross, boy.
That's right.
It's very rare we get a person of your stature to come on the podcast, you know.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Well, it's very rare I come to South as well, but you know, I'll come down for Jason.
Well, I appreciate that, you know.
Yeah,
Mickel is a South boy.
Yeah.
I'm a North boy, as you know. So when we come here, I just had to, I think when you reach by San Fernando Tech there, you just had to pull out your passport.
All right.
And just had to, they stamp it for you. Because,
Right.
I mean, I tell Mickel the other day, I say, what are we coming down South for? You know, wait out down South. Big argument, you know.
Yeah.
My thing is the interchange. You see that interchange that I just call it the spider net?
Spider of that.
Yeah, I'm not good at
confused,
another. Yeah. You see, it's too short between when you see the signs and when the signs are upon you.
Yeah,
That is true.
So you have to know where you're going from before.
And in the night, sometimes they're not putting on the lights on the sign itself. So
yeah. It feel like a kind of 1, 2, 3, it goes me kind of thing. That's how I feel there, like, you know. I'm going to pick it and see how I go.
But South is nice, South is love, South is comfort.
Yeah.
I think it have a lot of less crime, I think, in South compared to, that's my opinion.
But he must say
I
that.
from South, I represent South hard.
I will say I never really come to South and had a bad time.
Right.
I can't say that, you know.
Yeah.
When everybody that come to in South accommodated and
Right.
nice, so it's been good.
Yeah.
A major amount of our podcast viewers is actually from South.
From South?
Yeah. So
All right, well, I go
we thank you for the
represent.
support, you know. And I mean, for someone to come down here and stamp your passport and whatnot. I mean, creative director,
Yes, sir.
advertising, communication, and marketing specialists. You've worked with a lot of top-notch brands and companies in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, and internationally as well. Actually, I could.
I think anywhere I go, if I go to any marketing or advertising firm, whether it be Publicis, Valdez, you name it, McCann, Erickson, and I say, you know, Cutie, Quincy Ross.
Yeah.
They're like,
That
he was
would
here.
happen,
That
would
man
happen.
work on this campaign and whatnot. And
Yeah, I do stuff.
that's the thing about it. People don't know that some of the campaigns that you've worked on, some huge campaigns you've worked on, Nestle. Tell us.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'll be real straight. I forget because it's plenty, right?
Really?
Yeah, like I did. I forget just the other day. I was going down the road and I see our old Carib Light billboard. I was like, hey, I launched Carib Light. I forget that. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
But that's a huge accomplishment to see a work published like that, our concept come to life. Huh?
It is, but you know what? You just get accustomed to it. So
Right.
the first couple times, like I could tell you, back in the day, one of the bigger campaigns I did when I just got in, you know, one of the first ones that cut my teeth on was Kerrygold, right? Those days they had the milk wars, we used to call them. It was Kerrygold and Dairy,
yeah.
right? Battling back and forth, and every week as well, an upgrade and a change and things. So I was working with David Aldred at the time. He was at Inglefield, which is Ogilvy now. We did the jingle, the Kerrygold jingle. I worked on that jingle. And I went to the cinema when they launched it. I went to the cinema to see something or the other, but it was a children's show. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and walking down the steps, the jingle come on. Well, the ad came on, and the whole cinema, all the little children singing this thing. And I thinking, well, yo, I just had a blank screen up on my machine and I typed these words and I collaborated with somebody and, you know, we went by Graham Wilson and we put it together and we put this thing out and people actually know it enough or take it on enough to memorize the words.
Yeah.
Like, my eyes started full up with water and think in the darkness I hold on to a friend, like, you know.
I guess it's like
Couldn't
when an
see.
artist sing a song, a big soca song, a big R&B song in the world.
Yep, it's like
You
that.
touch people in a different way.
It's like that. When you do things, I mean, one of the reasons that I like advertising is it allows you to, I'm not going to say play with people's mind, but influence people, right? Because you learn behavior change. So you learn to use certain words, you learn to put things in a certain way to get people to do things. When you see people actually doing the things I suggest, it's a nice feeling.
You use that word influence just now. You know, one of the biggest words for the past 5-6 years is
Yeah, it's
influence,
influence.
influencer marketing.
Influencer, yeah.
Um, with advertising campaigns, obviously you're doing this, whether it be big brands, yes, you mentioned Kerrygold and the Milk Wars. Big money and big budgets was spent on these campaigns, right?
Yep.
Sometimes you're working day in, day out, night times, doing these huge campaigns for these advertising companies at hundreds and thousands of dollars to handle the brand.
Yeah, $10 million TV campaigns and thing. I come up from that era.
Really?
Yeah. People, a TV ad was a big production, you know, just the other day. A massive production, people having red cameras and you have extras on set and people building set design, you know, people were spending money
It's still like
on
that, right?
campaigns.
Still?
To be honest, I can't tell you from looking at much people doing major campaigns like that, they'll still get one or two, like a Caribou spend some money. They just spent some money the other day getting a couple artists, big artists to endorse their stuff. But on a regular, not as much as back in the day.
And you would think that these little influencers that we have all over have an effect on that? These
Yes.
so-called influencers sometimes?
I would say yes, because as is the case with anything else, when it comes to business, people usually look for the, you know, least output for maximum returns.
Right.
So,
nice way of putting it.
Yeah.
They don't want to spend no set of money.
Yeah, you know, so you know, people will like just select somebody with a phone or something. I mean, I ain't knocking phones. I just use phones for my production too. But and again, I don't want to knock the younger generation coming up doing the thing, but at the same time we have some fallout in terms of the expertise that goes behind creating certain things. You know, a lot of things kind of lacking right now, and it creates clutter. It also creates a scenario where if you don't get certain returns, who you're gonna blame, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have encountered a lot of people, a lot of business people who say, well, social media don't work. You know, social media don't work for me. Or
Right.
I don't need social media, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Today in 2025. And that is simply because the people that they're using or the strategies that they're using, whether it be themselves or they hire people to do it, just not hitting the targets because you're not sticking to certain prescribed rules to engage people. You know,
Right.
there is a science. You know, behavior change is a science. It's something that they can actually do. They can actually say, okay, I want to target this group of people and I want to make them do X, Y, Z.
That's marketing.
That is, yes.
Yeah.
Marketing.
So it's a lot of these individuals, the newer generation, they may not understand that, but they use other forms of sensation, music,
Correct.
color, dance, maybe personality.
And a lot of it right now is top of mind awareness, right? A lot of people go for that top of mind in terms of reaching a wide audience, you know, a big market, train a wide net. But that's really a retro kind of thinking, right? Since like I was at Rastan DDB in 2007 or something like that. Since then, we are talking about 6 degrees versus 360 degrees in terms of reaching your audience, right?
When you say 6 degrees, what do I mean?
6 degrees is apart from, well, the opposite of 360, right? 360 is showing a wide net and trying to talk to everybody in one grab. 6 degrees is me talking to you and you talking, and everybody linking, right? So you're talking to actually, that strategy is talking to the most powerful group of people, which is not necessarily the largest group of people. That's the people who are interested in what you're saying.
Right.
The people who want to do what you're saying and the people who will take your message and spread it to other people.
Right.
That's what the internet is about, you know? The internet, in terms of reach, everybody had a reach. You could pay Facebook to reach any amount of people that you want. As a matter of fact, you could pay Facebook to talk to exactly who you want to talk to.
Right.
And that is what technology is supposed to do, make things more efficient. So whereas you had newspaper, which was one-way communication, and well, they have a fixed amount of readers and that sort of thing, and they're talking to everybody with a message. You could have do some targeted stuff, but Facebook, for example, social media, allowed you to get way more granular. You could talk to X amount of people in this area who are interested in sneakers, that kind
They
of
could
thing.
target a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, as you say, don't believe in that. And somewhat traditional in nature. They're still doing the campaigns. But I personally, I could tell you, I don't really see that big bunch of campaigns again. Even advertising agencies, Quincy. Some of them downgraded. They used to be in these big buildings with a lot of staff.
Yeah.
This one is brand manager, this accounts, and some of them are operating in just a small little condo now.
Yeah.
Very small, because I don't know if social media damaged that.
Of course, the size of market drastically has been reduced. And you're talking about things, when you're talking media, look at things like television, radio, newspaper. Newspaper distribution would be pretty much decent in terms of, even though a lot of people will get the news now on your phone, you still have a couple things that people will pick up the newspaper for, right? And you still have a demographic that heavily relies on the newspaper that is quite sizable. Plus, businesses will always take the subscription, things like that. I know advertising agencies for sure, because they want to see the ads. So, to archive alone, if not only for that, they will have that, right? But when you think about television in terms of entertainment, and I think television is the one that get hit the hardest. People cutting the cable, people have subscription services and thing now.
YouTube, Netflix.
YouTube, Netflix, and the IPTV and things like that.
Android boxes.
So they're not seeing ads again on television.
Yeah.
People not even watching local television that much.
And on demand, people looking at things on demand now, you're pausing stuff. You could fast forward through ads, that kind of thing. So, the context of advertising within the media space is very different, but the media space itself has been drastically reduced. I think since about 2016, I think they said, television subscription has reduced and no signs are really going up, which means the size of the market going down, less money to make from it.
It's so true. I buy myself an Android box, Jason, and it have no channel. You can't think about it have on it, Every single channel you could think about worldwide.
It's kind of overwhelming.
Any show you want to see, any live event, pay-per-view, anything.
For me, it's like when you go to like a shop or a restaurant and you see like a big menu board with a million things and you don't know what you want, menu confusion.
But then people like yourself who are brilliant creatives developing some of the most targeted campaigns with proven results. What do you all do now? Did you find that the jobs are less? Is it more challenging for yourself now?
Well, one way to look at it is what what we used to do before is dwindling, right? In terms of doing a campaign in the same format, press, radio, TV, that kind of thing. But another way to look at it is looking at what the technology empowers it to do. Actually, it will come up anyway, so I'll start to talk about it one time. AI, right? The biggest fear or the biggest fear that people express with AI is that AI will take away a job, right?
Yes.
AI will, now you press a button and the artwork is done. Now you press a button and the video work is done and all that. And many people say that's a bad thing, right? I think it's a great thing. I have embraced AI since day one, been on that train, love it, because it actually empowers creatives. How we had to look at it is the trivial jobs will be done by AI, but art is always and will always be a human endeavor, right? AI has no desire to create art. It could create images.
Based upon prompts.
Yeah, and it still need human intervention to do it at some point.
Correct.
But art is, as I always say, an artist is somebody with something to say and he means to say it, right? To put it quite literally, and we were talking before, a copywriter would have to wait on a designer to design the visual part of the communication while they write the copy. Now a copywriter could also do the visual part, right?
Yes.
It means any writer could now self-publish books easier. I just recently, I helped a brethren of mine who wrote a book. did the cover for him, in like about a minute, if so much, and
Right,
sent
right.
back options. And he was like, yeah, cool, you could use this. But yeah, go ahead and do it.
Easy as that.
Easy as that. Now it is easy for me to do a magazine. I have a background in magazine publishing. So I could do a magazine by myself. I used to do 100-page magazine on a team when we was doing the 411 magazine, right? 411 music, entertainment magazine, Caribbean entertainment magazine. And it was a team, myself and Anthony Burnley, who was the CEO of the company. I was the editor-in-chief. And I would write the whole magazine, give it to Anthony. Anthony would design it. Now I could write the whole magazine and design it with the help of AI, Anthony could write a magazine too with the help of AI and design it,
Well,
So the same amount of jobs that will be off the table will also be created
I hear you.
by AI. And that is what it's about. It's about pivoting.
But you would have seen all of these trends happening even before. You say you embraced AI from since day one.
Mm-hmm.
To me, being in your field, you foresee trends.
Yeah.
And even as simple as a chef, I would have noticed that you would have seen a trend where food blogging, food writing was something that was growing in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
And I always recall early, you and your team started Eat a Food Blog.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That is, and I think I would say categorically was the first in Trinidad and Tobago to showcase food to the Caribbean, and even to the extent showing our Caribbean food recipe videos, and even showcasing the terminology behind it, what it is about, the history.
Definitely.
And even doing productions.
Definitely.
Going out to restaurants and showcasing them.
Yeah, man.
And you all did it so in such a classy manner, I would say. And everybody just followed suit after. Now we are saturated by it.
Yeah. Interesting. I think I was the first. I believe I was the first. The only other blog that was out at the time when I was doing, at that point it was Bring It to the Table. In fact, let's rewind. Bring It to the Table started as a thread on Trini Scene, right? When we had the message boards back in the day.
Trini Scene,
Long time, boy.
Yeah. So a friend of mine asked some information about making a macaroni pie.
Right.
And I posted a recipe, more or less. And, he did it and he came back and talked about his results and so on. And we just kind of kept it going, move on to stewing chicken and pilau and whatever. Then it migrated to a blog. At the point of the blog, I realized, I enjoy doing it, but this is a good service. I mean, I'm always about the why, why you're doing it.
Right.
At first, I did it to help Coyote. Then it kind of evolved to any other one of my friends, and people like men especially on Trini Scene. If you're interested, fall in. So that was the why then. And then it started to become more like, why not just showcase what you're doing, showcase the lime, showcase you making your food home, showcase Trinidad and that from that perspective, in a real way. And
what year this was?
From that. We was doing that blog in like 2000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 25 years. You all had that vision.
Yeah, at the time I was blogging, Badawi actually was the person that get me into blogging, right? We had a blog site called Critical Analysis, right? That we was just doing opinion stuff and, bashing things and usual brooding artist kind of thing, that bitter thing.
You're the one who started all that. He's the Moses.
We was doing that. Badawi, McKessie, and myself, right? Then I started doing some food stuff on the side too. And then I asked Dawi to fall in on that. And he came in. Then Dawi brought video to the whole scene, migrated. Then it became Eat a Food. Dawi was essential in migrating it to Eat a Food and bringing it to where it is now.
Okay.
And from that, I mean, the idea was always to talk about Trinidad, be 100% Trinidadian about it, but have a global perspective on what we're doing and how we fit into the landscape, inclusive of speaking in my accent and writing in my accent. As I always tell people, I'm not changing it for nothing. No, I'm not putting captions on my things neither. You know, I ain't doing that.
You left it just like that.
Yeah, understand it. That is all. Because we do it for other things. I ever see Snatch, for example. Snatch, everybody talking in different forms of British accent, hardcore, and using slangs. And at the first time I saw Snatch, had no subtitles, it helped me nothing. If you go back, Boys in the Hood, everybody was talking straight up slang.
Yes.
You didn't know what, somebody saying a mark, you didn't know how a mark was. You had to go and find out for yourself.
You had to research it.
And to me, that was interesting, That was an interesting part of the thing. So I was like, you know what? I gonna use my slangs too, But I found a sort of hybrid, and this actually came in with 411. And the inspiration was, at the time, hip-hop magazines used to write like that, Source and thing, used to write standard English, but break into a little slang for color. So I started doing that. If you check it out, I wouldn't just write, every word don't deserve to go in there, right?
All right.
You color your sentence and use slang to color it just to make it original and a little unique. And it's helped to give a little flair. Sometimes it helps it to be a little more funny. Sometimes you use it for emphasis, things like that,
Yeah, but Quincy, all these things you're telling me about here, I find them to be rather pertinent. They're important.
Yeah, they are.
But these days, we're talking about this as science.
Yeah.
You've seen all of these influencers, these youngsters. They have what you call as a phone.
Right.
They may not know what you know. They don't understand vernacular of the food, the background, what a bechamel may look supposed to be.
Right.
And they're going into restaurants, they're going into businesses, and they have this power in their phone now to make or break or elevate the business. I mean, that is a different type of power where nobody could stop them.
Yeah. But that is part and parcel of the democratization of media. From the time you democratize something like media, that's where you get. So everybody have a piece of media in their pocket. Everybody has that power, as they say. And they could walk in and, go up on a soapbox and talk about something. And that could, like I say, make or break somebody's business, like the actual life now, right? Part of it is the consumer and the viewer, the followers. Part of it is their responsibility, because as a viewer, you're really supposed to be aware of what you're consuming, right? You're supposed to be able to listen to somebody and at least pick sense from nonsense.
I understand.
Right?
Exactly.
The truth is, the consumer has created a low-hanging fruit for many people to come on. There's this thing that's going on now. I saw it started in the States. It came down. I don't know if it's Keith Lee probably started it, but I give this 7 out of 10. I give this 8 out of 10. What's the criteria? As somebody who like long time I've been like judging food stuff and that kind of thing. I would always say your competition as good as your criteria, right? You need to have proper categories.
Format.
And score these things in a way that not just will be fair, but it will be a good representation of what people doing, right? So that was always a rough thing for me. When somebody say, yeah, I like this, I give this 7 out of 10. What does that mean? 7 out of 10 making it sound formal, but really and truly, this is just your opinion. When it's 7 out of 10, that is just how much you like it versus how much you don't like it, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to, I given this 7 out of 10, I probably don't even like it, but it is well executed. It delivers the flavor that it's supposed to.
Because you have a criteria.
It is visually appealing and so on, and it might come up to 7. Maybe the 3 points I had lost is the 3 points that I don't like liver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it had liver in it. Maybe that was the 3 points, and them 3 points was just for my opinion.
If I bring in you and I pay in you, I say, right. Here's an influencer. Again, you change.
Right.
Review is stuff for me.
Nah, it's not a review. That is an ad.
That's an ad.
That's an ad.
Yeah. You can't pay for a review. In no part of the world, or I shouldn't say no part of the world, in no realm of logic,
Mm-hmm.
you could pay for a review. You can't pay for a review. That a review is a journalistic endeavor, right? And journalistic integrity would not allow you to take money to do a review.
But I hear that has happened.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I hear that's
It
happening.
doesn't. It happening
It's
locally.
happening.
Nah, people calling reviews,
So they're
people calling
mixing up.
ads
They're mixing
reviews.
it up then.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they believe that they're doing reviews. I think so.
No, but everybody know. I don't know. As soon as somebody pull out their
Mm.
camera to videotape the
It's a
pasta,
review.
it's a review.
Yeah.
And there's a critic.
I went to so and so today, and my
Yeah.
husband and whatnot, my sister, whatever the kid they went with, and we had the pasta. Listen, I love this so much. I give it a 6 out of 10. I believe so whatnot, and whatever the case
Yeah,
is.
that's your opinion.
That's your opinion. I get
Yeah.
it.
Nice opinion piece. That's great.
I mean, then it have some serious ones now.
Mhm.
Serious people in the business
Mhm.
who go on to do the review. They say
Mhm.
they pay, get the money. They sit down with their family. They bring Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Mhm.
They sit down. They eat, but they're getting not
Paid
only
to
the
do it.
food, but they're getting paid.
Right. They're doing ads.
So how do you find the line between the ad content and the reviewing content?
The line very clear though. It's a very thick line. People just choose to ignore it. And let me show you how. A review supposed to be a professional opinion, as much as food is subjective, based on a knowledge, insight into
Food.
what you're talking about there, food,
Yeah.
right? And it's supposed to be unbiased. It's supposed to be me coming in, sampling something and saying, this is how I evaluate XYZ. It's supposed to be, actually, it's supposed to serve the consumer, not really the business owner, right? These things supposed to be, like I say, unbiased. They should be as independent as possible from the business itself, divorced from the business itself, right? From the time I get paid to do it, even if I, want to be unbiased, I already have a bias because I was paid.
Yeah. The business owner expects you to speak positively about his or her product.
And even if I say, you know what, I still gonna and say whatever I want to say, you still get paid. So you're not credible. You're just not credible. That is all it is. Again, is up to the consumer, right? If the consumer has has an understanding that this person, this influencer was paid to do this, then you're supposed to process it in a certain way. And the thing is, it might be that the influencer is wrong with what they're saying, They might probably be right. They might probably make a good evaluation. But me as a consumer still can't really trust you 100% and say, you know what, I want to take my hard-earned money and pay for this and expect XYZ back.
Right.
I would be a kind of clown to think so, right? Just because this person has an audience, that don't work like that. And that's why I say with democratization comes responsibility. You have a piece of media in your pocket to use any which way you want.
Yes.
You could take this and, anybody, this is not just, somebody, a popular person. Anybody could take a video of something and post it up and say XYZ going on here right now, and it could be viral. This could reach all over the world, right? That requires discipline, right? You need to be disciplined with it. Otherwise, chaos.
People using these things wrong sometimes, Even when they're going live.
Yeah.
They just put on the phone live. But they're not, and they're showcasing some of the most intimate, embarrassing, bacchanal scenarios sometimes.
True.
And sometimes it could these people are attached to, if they're attached to certain brands, it could affect. Because I believe that influencers even existed 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Of course, yeah.
It's just that we use them as advocates. All those artists and sportsmen, like Brian Lara, all of these guys.
Nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new.
Actually, the term was developed by, this back in the day, it was a journalist, right, that coined the term influencer this years ago, a food writer at that. And it was really supposed to be somebody with Well, the influence was actual knowledge, credibility in a field, more or less, right? So from that perspective, and I mean, coming out of something like you say, a Times magazine, or something where the whole journalistic scene would be strong in terms of you have to have like verification of your content, and everything had to be on point in terms of it being correct and accurate and all that. Then I mean, at that stage, an influencer is somebody with actual credibility.
Credibility, right?
Right. So a lot of these influencers now locally, well, we know they're being paid, or some of them ain't being paid. They get a free meal and bam, you think they're saying real good. So there are no credibility there.
When you think about that, like you have somebody come in, they just invite them, they come to eat.
Yeah.
But to me, that weakens the whole scenario of media professionals, because you come to do a showcase of the new restaurant, or someone such as yourself for video quality, the person who does video quality would have charged for that, to do something in a positive light with guidelines you mentioned. Now, it is democratizing. You take out your phone, come in, you get paid, they give you 3 burgers and a happy basket. A happy basket with a cup, a towel, and a whistle. And you happy with that?
You happy with that?
You spend, you talk about South. Then you place openers, or you leave North to come here, spend $85 in gas, come down here to get 3 burger, a cup, a straw, whistle, and a rag. But you get your stuff out on TikTok. And you get the views.
Now, to be fair, you can monetize your channels now. So your views will turn into cash, right? At some point.
We could do that in Trinidad?
It have some people doing it, yeah. If you have a US account and you set up US-based things, you could access it. I mean, I'm not too versed in that part. That is Bedawi part, actually, and some other friends of mine. But yeah, you could get money. Like, you're getting YouTube money now. For quite some time, we've been getting YouTube money. So from that perspective, an influencer might go out there and just get views and make some money. Again, that is not the problem. The problem is not that. Again, it is the viewer that need to be responsible for how they engage certain content, right? If you know something about, or if you evaluate the content and you come up with, you know what, these people getting paid, for example, then you have to expect a certain amount of bias to be in that piece of content. And again, you might want to use it for something. Probably that might be to rest all put all your eggs in that basket. Maybe it might be that, But yeah.
But food definitely is something that is on the Facebook, YouTube. It's a big medium for making money, as you mentioned, and viewers and so forth.
Up and up.
Being one of the pioneers in food blogging and video production, right? In Trinidad and Tobago, we have a lot of videos, people creating content every single day, showcasing our food, our country. Very recently, we had people like Mark Weens, we had David Hoffman. A host of Bourdain came. I know you would have met him in 2018. Social media, even though it has that controversial side where things could go viral, but it could also be in a positive light where we could get the word out. And universally, that is, it goes everywhere, China, Switzerland, you name it. And so we have to know how to tailor it, use it to our might as best as we could.
Yeah, I think it doing plenty for us. Like for the past, I say 2-3 years now, I think Trini food real trending outside. Like in New York and thing.
But still, we're not the capital of the Caribbean when it comes to food.
Yeah, we kind of lackadaisical in claiming it. I think we are, but we don't claim it.
I think we are.
I think we're the melting pot of our people here in Trinidad and Tobago. We have so many types of cuisine. Right? Yeah. And you look at all the other islands, because I've been to the other islands, and they have what we have already, but they don't have the additional stuff that we have to the side.
Yeah, the fusion.
So, the fusion, the Portuguese, the Syrian food, the French Creole food, the Indian food. Some countries would have it, but because of our makeup, our eclectic makeup, we have that. And the funny thing is that when people think about the Caribbean and they think about the food scene, we always think of Jamaica. Think of Barbados.
Yeah. I think, and that's what I was getting at. I think we don't claim it in the same way that Jamaicans, for example, claim it. I think Jamaicans is outright. I never meet a Jamaican that didn't say their cuisine is the best. Full stop. You know?
Patriotism, right?
Yeah, Jamaicans just do that. I think Trinidadians just do it, but in a kind of, I don't know if it is maybe it is we just real lofty and we don't even choose to argue it.
Somebody,
you know?
we argue about a few months ago when somebody said that we had the best moist currents roll or something like that.
Oh,
Remember
no,
that?
yeah.
Grenada had the driest currents roll.
When it's time to drag, but that's different. You see, dragging, I think we could export that skill. I think countries could hail Trinidad to send draggers when they have, hey, Trinidad, we have a little issue here, somebody says something, send about 5 draggers now.
Right.
And we could send people to drag people, right? But that's different from staking our claim and being patriotic about your things, right? We just get loud when somebody says something bad, but we don't be loud just
for the right things.
Yeah, just so. We just loud about it. Jamaicans just loud about it.
I think we patriotic and loud about we food in our Trinis. I just say about Trini food everywhere.
I find when it comes to roti and doubles, we loud.
Well, that we top food,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have more than that.
We have plenty
we
more
have
than
more than that. And people need to stop seeing Trinidad and Tobago as just doubles and roti. I mean, we have pilau.
Yeah.
We have a good shack and bacon shack, whatever you want to call it.
Even beyond that, look at the quality of like dirt oven bread, for example, that people doing, right?
Yeah.
Look at, as you said, dirt oven, look at what people like like the pizza culture in Trinidad, people
Saltfish and
pizza. Yeah.
All of these things. I see that, yeah.
Yep.
It's amazing to see it.
I had to shout my boy Kaiso City.
Yeah.
Kaiso City doing marvelous things with pizza. Marvelous things.
Saltfish.
And it's starting with
Saltfish
the dough.
Pizza, smoke and pizza.
Starting with the man crust is amazing. And he what I like about it is he influencing, or he putting the Trini influence into this, international dish. And we have a lot of instances of that type of thing happening, right? Which I think is amazing.
Look at Sovetti.
Again,
amazing flavors in the basis of ice cream.
Yeah,
she would have worked with Eater Food also. At some point in time. And it's amazing to see the artisanal quality that we have here. And we can push it. And there's something I wanted to ask about is that early 2011, 2012, we used to have something called Tasty NT, I believe. Tasty Caribbean, something of that nature. A big food festival in the Oval.
Yeah.
And that was something I hailed for tourism, was amazing because we always just think of Trinidad and Tobago, we could produce, we were the energy capital, but we have so much more. Sports, medical, tourism, eco, but food is something we get into. How come that a concept like a food fest? Because people always talk about coming to Trinidad and enjoying a food fest, like Miami Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah, and I think you're right. That was a great time, right? Even before the International Culinary Festival, which is the one you was talking about, that was a big one, and they brought down Jose Garces and all that. And this chef who had the #1 restaurant in the world at the time. Before that, Tasty NT was a series of events that used to happen in communities around the country. So like they went to Penal and they do a doubles one in Penal, and they had a curry duck one, I think was in St. Augustine or somewhere else,
Right.
So they had these little pockets of community activity showcasing food, and that and all was real nice, very engaging. I learned about pepperoni in one of them things.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
So it was good for that. Then it kind of migrated to and evolved to the International Culinary Festival, which I thought was, we work with TDC for that, to promote that. It was well attended. It was very well subscribed, but that was amazing food time, like doubles, thing and all that. But I went to a presentation that this room had. Good, I forget real things today, but it must be the A and South.
You need a doubles.
This room runs a kappa.
Right.
Runs a kappa was launching around that time in Trinidad. And they had a real nice presentation in one of the rooms in the stadium. I walk out of that feeling like if I in some, real big country that doing this thing for 19 hours long. It was well organized. It was great.
So it's the quality of the people who make this happen.
Correct.
But where are they? Why is it that you can't find them in the TDC or the Tourism Association? They're not attached to it when the government is doing these. To me, like that same festival we spoke about, it just gone away.
Yeah.
How do we then showcase our food and use these people? Because it's the same conversation we have even for our music, you know?
Yeah, similar. And events like that, great for tourism, great to get people aware of what's going on because people travel for things like that. We could reach, and to me, that festival was at the quality and at the stage of attracting people from around the globe to come to Trinidad to experience not just Trinidad food, but food.
Yeah.
From a Trinidadian perspective, but with a global kind of feel, right? And that's what was going on because, you had all the big chefs was down there, everybody was there doing this stuff, and not everybody was doing curry. It had people doing Italian stuff, it had people doing, local cuisine and all different styles,
I recall once when I was lecturing at TTHDI, we had this young man who was a student, and we had the big exam at the end where they have to do a practical exam or whatnot. Like, this boy was a roti maker. He make roti. That was his strong point.
Right.
Talk about roti, sometimes he come to class, all hair is covered in flour because he up since 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh,
rolling roti. I had roti. See, I bag you up 4 o'clock this morning, chef. I know reach whatever the case. I done put away 66 something pound of flour. And he for exam, and he too worried because he don't really have a background of doing the refined cuisine that we would have normally taught. And he had picked up on something called smoking fish.
Yeah.
And he said, but it's real similar to like how we just smoke herring. Like something they will do and when making choker. I say you have to stick with what you know in times of exam. And he roasted and smoked a nice piece of salmon or whatever the case. And you know what's the base he used? Because he was so great at lamination. Lamination is when you use dough with fat, layer fat. Roti, paratha roti is very similar to a laminated method where you have that ghee and thing inside of it. And he made an amazing pepper roti. Nobody in the class out of the 20 people could have done roti like him. That was his strong point.
Roti.
And he just identified with smoking fish, like how there was coal pot smoke herring at home. And he did this beautiful dish where he cooked the fish on top of a base of pepper roti. But he cut it nice in a disc. And he make a baigan choka mousse.
Baigan choka mousse.
Mousse nice. So he used concepts. And he was not any individual to say, well, he was amazing in the generic cooking that we were teaching. But he aced the examination because he came different. He did what he knew. And he elevated our Trinidad and Tobago cuisine. The first time we saw the elements of a traditional, probably Indian-based dish done with some sort of flair in a nouvelle concept.
Yeah. But, and you're talking about something again, the TTHDI.
Oh, gosh. I am so... Quincy, I always used to see you down there all the time. Coming down, you're doing your productions down there. You come to eat. Mickel is also a past student there. I would have lectured there. I think when in Trinidad and Tobago, you either went UE, John D, or TTHDI.
Yeah.
UE would have done all the professionals in terms of, politics and engineering and whatnot. John D would have been the creative people, the technicals. And anything to do with hospitality, tourism. Management, sports tourism, F&B, hotel, culinary. We've lost an amazing gem.
Yeah.
Amazing gem.
A great resource.
Now, how are we producing people for our field in the next 20 years when the last generation of graduates are gone?
Yeah.
We're supposed to actually be producing also throughout the Caribbean because a lot of our people went across the different islands and did great things.
Yeah.
We have nowhere in the Caribbean that does what we used to do at TTHDI.
That was sad. And some people, a couple people opened a few institutes and so on, but the scale that TTHDI was on already, the size of the organization and the experience of the organization was a cut above.
A lot of people look forward to going to TTHDI, and a lot of people now talk about it. They close down, they want to go, their nephews want to go, their kids, and what other option is there now?
There's no.
Have things, but not on that level.
They had accreditation. So when I graduated from there, I could have accredited to go to a university away.
Right.
But also the standard of the teaching, the diplomas, the management, the graduates, the level of the curriculum was good.
Yeah.
I could tell you personally, because I went there and when I went away, I always seem to have a cutting edge based upon the level of intricacies how they taught us in TTHTI. And we were very disciplined in TTHTI with the lecturers and so forth. So we already had that disposition when we went across. And
some of the things like the practice dinners, I remember going to them practice dinners. I mean, it was great. It was great. That I get goosebumps here talking about that because it was inspiring.
I really would like to say, if anybody, I know we have a lot of watchers of this podcast. If anybody watching this, especially the government, you all should look at probably re-establishing the TTHI name, bringing it back into circulation. Because I travel throughout the Caribbean and people talk about it more so than Trinidadians. They say, my son went there. I wanted to, so my uncle went there, my father went there. And it's amazing to see that we had something so great. And we all benefited from it, but it just disappeared like that. And we don't have that training again.
I'm telling you, that was eater food time and we was, running at full speed. And it was a hard thing to document. Like, cause that's a whole day shoot more or less, right? But we used to like to do it because, again, it was so inspirational to see the youths doing, that type of work. Some real gems popping up. We see real good young chefs coming up doing all sort of things.
It's promising, huh?
Yeah, it was real.
It's like medical school, just for chefs.
Yep.
That is what it was.
Yep.
Isn't it?
Yep.
I really miss that, boy. I mean, if we could get something like that, I think it could secure our future, especially because we are big in hospitality and hotel in Trinidad and Tobago. Especially we need lodging and accommodation for people who come here, especially for carnival and so forth. And food is a big medium in that.
But you know what? That speaks to, I think it speaks to the age-old division in terms of priorities. How we look at academics, for example, versus the arts, right? Because, I mean, likewise, we have a lot of talented artists here, but no real resources to, give a lot of them the kind of footing that they need to be doing proper work. A lot of great artists leave Trinidad and go away to become something, and likewise with food, I think people still see chefs as, I mean, Food Network did a lot to make chefs, paint chefs as celebrities and, show it in a different light. But I think at a real fundamental level, I think it still has that almost a negative association in terms of chef, artist, writer, that kind of thing.
We were speaking about that earlier on. We had I guess Michael Salikram, and he's a dancer, and he was saying, with time of him growing up, you want to bring home a doctor, a lawyer to your parents, If you tell them a dancer, like, what the hell wrong with you? A chef, all of these different things. But you're right, the media has printed it in a very different manner. It destigmatized it a little bit, but people still have it. But you see what happened during COVID. Everybody, when every restaurant was closed, men started to realize how we're going to eat.
Yep.
Everybody started to jump now on eater food blogs, online concepts, to see how they could get recipes. Men was making things like fried chicken and doubles.
Doubles,
Doubles,
which is no easy thing to make.
No.
You know what I mean? And then they realized how important the food chain was. People there, such as farmers, people in the agricultural sector. I see the government doing stuff for our farmers now and so forth. But I would love for us to be sustainable when it comes to agriculture in this country.
And I have no reason why we shouldn't be. We have the talent, we have the resources. It's just like the right strategies to go in place. But we need people to believe that these things are actually good. I mean, look, my parents, right? Both of them passed now, but my father was a musician, right? Full out. He retired as the inspector of the police band, right? Or one of the inspectors of the police band. My mother was a singer, known singer. She was a teacher, singing. She coached plenty, like a lot of voice training, coached choirs, that kind of thing. So they were both creative. She could play guitar and all that, right? I could play the fool.
You could play the fool.
But they were both artists and creative. So it was no scene when I went to KRC, didn't touch art at all, but then went to Barataria and ended up getting into art and design, right? I was always drawing though. Coming up, I could draw and do all kind of things, and I was just creative coming up because I'm in a creative environment. But it always struck me that at no point in KRC anybody say, including my parents, why you don't do art and design. They had an art program, maybe not a great one, but why you don't try it? Why you don't head in that direction? It was no scene when I came home and say, look, I'm not doing, I think I dropped what, econ. I dropped econ to do,
You drop a subject.
yeah.
That was a no-no, you know.
Yeah, I dropped econ to do art, and my parents was like, all right, cool, no
Eh.
problem. Yeah, there was no scene. But still, it wasn't something that they wasn't moved enough to actually seek that for me. Even music, I could have, like, I did music lessons when I was younger and thinking I was pretty good at it. I had a little beef with my pops about a Casio that I wanted versus a grand piano. And that's because the type of, what I wanted to do was I wanted to play with sound. So I probably didn't know at the time, but I wanted to be more like a producer than a musician. My father, who is a musician, couldn't really understand that because he thinking, the goal of a musician is to perform.
Right.
So he wanted me to head in that direction, and I wasn't really feeling that. So from the time I get the grand piano, I kind of lost the zeal for it and back off. But I was good at it when I was doing it. How come nobody thought I should have do it in school as an actual subject? And I think we don't see these things as real subjects or real jobs. We accept them, but I don't feel we truly believe it. I don't think a lot of people truly believe it unless they're in it doing it.
Quincy, can you imagine they have a doubles class in school?
Yeah.
What's CXC?
Doubles 101.
Doubles 101. You learn to make doubles.
Yeah.
You learn to make roti.
Yeah.
You make curry chicken.
Yeah.
We used to call it curry chicken or chicken curry?
Curry chickens.
We used to call it.
Why that Trini? Curry
Yeah.
chicken.
Yes,
If
curry
you're
chicken.
calling it curry chicken and that Trini,
But I
something
also
wrong.
will say, I understand that's just Trinidadians being Trinidadians and saying curry chicken versus curried chicken, right?
True. Curry the chicken is really special.
Curried, right? The chicken is curried, so it's curried chicken, right? And
But how we just say chicken pilau?
because we wild. That
We
is
should
why.
say pilau chicken then.
Well, the chicken wasn't pilau. Was the chicken
pilau?
pilau?
The pilau may be chickened. It depending on which one come first. But then again, you had to ask the same thing now in Guyana. Why did they say Kentucky chicken fry?
Wow.
KCF.
Wow.
But they say KFC. Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Right.
So it's the same thing like saying Kentucky Curry Chicken. But they say Kentucky Fried Chicken.
But it's a brand, so it forced upon them. They can't change the people brand, that's what it is. They're saying it as a brand. They're not buying into the philosophy of it, but they're saying it as a brand.
Right.
Culture is a hell of a thing when it comes to food, and we're very protective of it.
It is. Also, language is very fun. Language is real fun.
But what do you prefer, doubles or roti?
That is a hard question. I'll tell you why. It's really apples and oranges,
Really?
Yeah,
I guess so.
Yeah, but you know what? I will pick roti.
Why, boy?
Because I could do more with roti than doubles.
And what? Dal Peru we talking about? Bus up shot? What kind of roti we talking
Well,
about?
anyone. Because
Any roti.
We asked this question to everybody. And they told me that everybody has so far has given us that answer. They say you could do more with roti.
Yeah.
Because it's just chana, chickpeas on. But then again, men putting shrimp and chicken on doubles now.
I don't support it.
You're purist.
I don't support it. Yeah. I find if you want meat and thing, eat a roti.
Eat the roti, doubles is chana, bara, little pepper sauce.
Also, never say this, right? Now, that is the fun side of it, right? But doubles have a very significant place in the ecosystem, right? And that is why I just always make noise when doubles price going up and them kind of thing. We had to be cautious with this thing because it is one of the few dishes, complete meals, that a man could get with a little $10, right? At $10 could give you something to eat, probably with a little drink too, to just hold you out for the morning. You know how much things that could solve? That is the difference between
crime.
That
could stop. Yeah.
That is the difference.
You could go and ask a man, give me $10 now, and he will give it to you.
Yeah.
Rather than that man go and hold up somebody and take your wallet.
Also, that is the difference between a man reaching on the job and tripping off at a foreman or a boss or something because you're hungry. So I feel, and then too, think about this. if you get a phone call and you eating a doubles, you're not answering, right? When you call back the person,
In psychology now.
when you call back the person and say, hey, sorry, they were eating a doubles, man, I was
They
roti,"
understand.
they cool with that, right? If you stop and eat a doubles in the morning, you get in a little 5-10 minutes to just take your day
Zone
down,
out.
just cool down a little bit.
Yeah.
Take a second out of the rat race. Eat, talk to some people there, somebody say some kind of stupid thing, you laugh, thing, whatever, you share a little conversation, and then you carry on your day. Doubles is a serious thing. That's a serious thing. And we shouldn't tamper with it too much, right? I have a problem with taking a spoon of meat and you change it automatically from something that is economy,
Yeah, I don't think they should.
$6 thing, to something that is 18 and 20. And here what they're doing, it's setting up the precedent that our doubles could be that price. Right? $18-20. Our doubles rocking at that price, right? And people are accustomed paying $18-20 because that's some meat in
that's
it.
some meat in it.
So then when the meatless one going up to 9, it ain't that bad because
ain't
that
that bad,
$18
yeah,
doubles. You know, and we go let it run.
Quincy,
Nah.
I just mentioned CXC as a subject, but it seemed like you doubles, but it seemed like you're ready to lecture the class.
I
boy.
ready for the class. I
You're
ready
ready
for the
to lecture the class, boy. That man brings some concepts
I
to
ready
me
for the
there.
class.
You talk about how you can't answer the phone. You have 10 minutes for yourself. That's Zen moment you talking about.
Yeah. But for real, you know it, you
That
know.
could de-stress you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I just tell people doubles very serious. Doubles is very, very serious. I still like my roti though. Because, with our roti, right? If you deconstruct the roti, different parts, different elements. You see that dal peri? You grate some cheese on a dal peri in the morning. That's a great breakfast.
Yes. A day old put on a tower. You
Oh
gotta put it on
my
a tower.
goodness, on a tap.
Crispy and you pull it.
That's a nice breakfast.
Good boy.
That same dal peri, you roll up that next to some chana, a little chicken, die lunch.
What's your philosophy on curry corned beef?
Wow, curry corned beef. No, again, corned beef is one of them essentials too. Corned beef is one of them things that is learned to cook with, right? And that's one of the first things I learned to cook. Corned beef, yeah. Corned beef and rice.
Corned beef and rice, yeah.
That is one of the early things. I could make corned beef and rice all kind of how, with all kind of thing in it, right? The curry corned beef, I come into that late, I must say. But that has changed the game. That has really changed the game. That curry has elevated corned beef into something else.
You know, I never had curry corned beef.
It is amazing.
Nah, we made curry corned beef on our show once.
Curry corned beef. You put cabbage?
Riyadh and I. It was good.
You put cabbage in it? Or
not in
aloo?
that one. I've had
Aloo?
it. No, I made it a second time and I put cabbage in it. But I put potato in it.
Nice. It's nice with
Just
some
put
aloo in it too.
aloo in it,
Curry
yeah.
corned beef with aloo.
I'm sure it tastes good. I mean, potatoes go good with nearly anything, you know.
Let's give it a different kind of body. Let's send it in a different direction. Yeah.
If you have to have a national dish in Trinidad and Tobago, that is a good one.
Wow.
Put you on the spot there.
National dish?
Because Grenada have oil dong, Guyana have pepper pot, and some of the other islands have, the fufu and whatnot like that.
Yeah. Let me say, I feel I am of the school that you don't need to have one national dish. You know that, right? It have nothing stipulating that you have to have one national dish. You can have a few. However, if you lock me down to choose one.
You have to choose one. Your national dish at Trinidad and Tobago is.
And think about it, because this is the one dish that represents the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Callaloo want to come out. Callaloo want to be it for me. But I will say pilau.
In national dish?
I agree with him.
I'll say pilau.
I always say pilau. I find roti is more Indian centric. Doubles also. I find pilau, it's West African of origin. Play on jollof rice. But at the same time also, it's been around. It formed the principle of something that was eaten during the peasant slavery days, where odd ends of meats and whatever had remaining. I think it was a foundational dish that brought us to where we are now.
Correct, but also here what I go interject and why I give pilau the none. It need to be something that is, the national dish should be accessible, right? In that the barrier to create it shouldn't be too high. Roti is almost real technical. Doubles and thing too. Almost every household is make a pilau, whether it's good or not. right? They have a version of pilau that is do. And everybody's make it slightly different. They have a different spin and things. So it's accessible. I think it's a little more common because of that.
Right.
There are household making pilau, and you have your own style of pilau and that kind of thing.
Well, you have beef pilau, chicken pilau.
Well, the most controversial thing with pilau, I hear in chicken beef, and I think is wet or dry. I always
Wet or
hear
dry,
wet
yeah.
pilau,
Yeah.
dry pilau. So
Yeah.
let me hear all it. Wet or dry?
Again,
I wet boy, wet all the way.
Wet pilau. Let me hear all it too. Wet or dry? All it tell me.
I like a moist pilau.
Moist.
Sappy, this call it.
moist. You see, I'm not going into the sappy. Moist, right? So I can have my individual grains, but when they have the grains with the nice little coating over it, it still have a nice texture. It's still fluffy. It moist.
It's sappy.
It moist, but it can be sappy. I don't want to eat pilau soup. I don't want the rice soup.
Me
I'm
mind
not- I'm
that.
not
I
on
like
that.
it a little sappy.
Nah, not on that. I not on that. I understand why though.
Yeah,
I
and I like a
understand
good
why.
pilau. I love pilau, but and back to the question of what should be the national dish at Trinidad, it should either be for me
Yeah.
doubles or roti.
Yeah.
But I'm not discrediting pilau. Pilau is good. I love
But
my
why
pilau.
you say doubles or roti?
The most loved foods here in Trinidad and
love them
Tobago.
and we
If
love
you
them
ask
and-
anybody,
It is access. It is quicker to get a doubles
Yeah.
and a roti.
Yeah. We
Probably
love
not pilau.
We love them, We love them.
love it.
I think it's definitely the most loved. But if you're talking about representation, right? It had to be something that everybody could access. So right, a national dish should be something if somebody come down and say, I want to experience your culture by virtue of your food. Show me a national dish. Most families should be able to go in the kitchen and make a pilau and say, here, there's a pilau. Most people would not be able to make a roti,
A roti.
or a doubles.
Understood.
You see,
Point
when we
taken.
start to talk about culture, we can get so deep. I mean, we started to talk about, the whole aspect of advertising. And advertising, we essentially want to showcase our culture to the world.
It
That's
is.
what we do,
Definitely.
We
A
spoke
roti and a red solo come from
Look at that.
advertising.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
all these different things. And I guess, in essence, things have evolved where, yes, through influencer marketing and social media, we are able to showcase foods. And these are the conversations that come up every day.
Yeah.
Every day. You post a roti, real men comment on it. And you come and say something like sweet sauce in doubles or cucumber in doubles. It starts a whole war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's amazing.
But one thing I just wanted to ask, we talk about foods, and you did mention that you think roti doubles, you think more to the East Indian side. There are certain foods we might put more to the African side. We are a country where we mainly eat African and Indian people. Is there a food in particular now that we could say it have a bit of Indian and African combined to make it?
Curry stew.
Curry stew.
It's amazing how Khaled would have coined that Dogla term.
Yeah.
When he say making Dogla chicken, Chef Khaled.
Yeah, Douglas. both
And
thing,
it works. It works in some nature. I like it. I think it's a good thing. But I guess that would be your answer there.
Yeah. I was actually going to say curry pilau. But
Curry pilau.
yeah.
Pilau.
But curry stew is actually, I think that break it down to the actual thing now, because that's where essentially doing it a curry pilau. It's a kind of curry stew pilau now, you know?
So hear this, right? For a little fun, because things going nice. Give me what? I'll call out some things. You give me
All right.
some one word association. Give me a one word association or statement.
Let me see.
Macaroni in fish broth.
Nah.
Why, boy?
Nah. Fish broth.
Nah.
Fish broth for me. Fish broth is an intricate thing, a delicate. It's a room for the fish, well, they add a broth and thing, and give me two other things in it. Give me a carrot and maybe a piece of potato. You know, that kind. We ain't going too wild. It's not soup.
What about
We ain't going too
cucumber?
wild.
True,
Cucumber
agree.
in doubles.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just eat cucumber in doubles.
I don't mind
mad-
having
I'm
cucumber
I
mad
think
at
it's
it.
a salad. It's a healthy
Yeah.
aspect.
I don't mind.
I don't normally order it, but if it there, I might take it. And
I
I
don't
taste some
mind.
good ones too.
I don't believe in adding too much to doubles, but if you combine the doubles, I don't mind.
How is order yours, by the way?
Heavy pepper. And I use the term flooded.
Flooded.
Yeah.
Culture with Marshall.
You know what? Marshall, boss. Yeah. Get Jackie jacket. Get Jackie jacket and all the thing. Whether or not personality wise, human wise, whatever, in the realm, the man do it. The man do it wetter than everybody else.
Look, Quincy, you definitely had this kind of prolific journey so far. We hear about your piano days, you know, we hear about your artistic days and how you moved, you ranked through the advertising firms, developed all these campaigns. I mean, you would have also produced Lyrics Like a Boss.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I
you
did
know,
Lyrics Like a
you
Boss,
say Kerry
yeah.
Gold, Carib, all of these great stuff. And I mean, at the end of the day,
Johnny Walker, Guinness.
it's amazing to see. We gotta take a drink for that.
Yeah, I think we need to take
a drink. Some Pulse Energy drink. Yeah.
Pulse Energy drink, yeah. Will you give it a try?
Yeah.
We have the sugar-free one?
This is a sugar-free.
Sugar-free.
Yeah.
I have Fusion.
It's a fusion flavor. This one is a mango flavor.
This one, it have guarana, taurine, I think it's pronounced.
Taurine, yeah.
Vitamins.
Good stuff, good stuff.
It's my prime up for later, but I guess some energy.
Real talk, as a sucker for packaging. I like the package. I like this black
You like the
top.
tin design, the black.
Black top, real nice.
This actually has only 12% sugar. It's almost a 1/3 the amount of the other brands.
It's good for me.
Yeah, watch out with the other brands.
It's good for me because I like things too sweet. So let's fall in the ballpark then.
It tasting good, man.
Is that dessert, man?
I used to say no. I realize I shouldn't say no because that some desserts has hit me for 6. But according.
I love desserts.
Fickle when it comes
I like desserts, and not every day or whatnot like that, but
Yeah,
I like my savory too bad, you know?
Yeah, sweet, man.
See,
Go ahead.
It have sponge cake and then it have sponge cake, right? You see the sponge cake that has come with a little, the bottom have a little crust.
Yeah.
The top nice and fluffy.
Sometimes it has a stickiness.
Yellow.
It has a
Yes,
stickiness.
stickiness.
That is what you want.
Yeah. You see that? If you put that in front of me and ask me if I was a dessert man,
Yes.
definitely, yes. Yeah,
Boy, as grassroots as they go come, Quincy, you like it too bad.
Yeah.
I can see that. That's why I'm saying, you know, we're gonna get you on, talk to you a little bit, because I believe you would have contributed a lot to the whole marketing framework of Trinidad and Tobago with so many products. And now in this age where we're not really seeing that much campaigns again, as mentioned, it's good to showcase folks like yourself.
But you know, thanks. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you all and, you know, be part of the thing.
Yeah, I say thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah.
And being part of it. I know Mickel and I, it was definitely stimulating.
Yeah,
we really appreciate you being here.
Thanks, I appreciate being here, man. Thanks. And I wish you all the best in the show, man. I think, do it, man. Do it.
That's the plan, man.
Yeah,
Come back and whatnot like that, and we'll see you again soon.
And if you're not frightened, if it ain't frightening and real scary when you're looking at it, you're probably ain't doing enough.
All right.
You hear that?
Good.
Anything that you do that is out of your comfort zone, that's good.
Yeah.
We out. Quince.
Take it.
Yeah, man. Bless.